My Daily Rules to Live By: How to Become a Better Person, 2nd edition, by Dr. Saul Weingarten. Narration by Peter Coyote. Preface to the 2nd edition. Welcome to this 2nd edition of My Daily Rules to Live By. The response to the 1st edition has been gratifying, but I decided it was missing something important. A chapter on forgiveness, and so you will see in this new edition a new Chapter 6 entitled On Forgiveness. While the suggestions in the 1st edition for improving oneself and becoming a better person proved to be very effective when practiced, the ability to forgive oneself and others for our damaging behaviors is another powerful tool for helping to create a better future. The reality is that it's usually much too difficult for anyone to know exactly what is going on at any given moment during an encounter with another person. This prevents us from having enough information to make reasonable conclusions about what is happening and why, which makes mistakes and misunderstandings inevitable. As a result, we'll often exaggerate trivial and even false impressions to rationalize what turns out to be our irrational behaviors and responses. If we want to maintain healthy relationships with both ourselves and others, even if we don't completely understand the nature of a particular disagreement or offense, being prepared to forgive becomes a necessary part of that process. The benefits of forgiveness can be used by virtually everyone. The basic importance of being able to call upon ourselves to forgive when dealing with discord complements the rest of the suggestions in this book and may further contribute to your journey of becoming a better person. Introduction. Everyone's life is filled with stories. We love good stories in books, movies, and even songs. They can help people relate to one another in ways they would never discover otherwise. Stories enable you to take a walk in someone else's shoes and get an image in your mind as to what the world is like for that particular storyteller. In addition to other people's stories, we make up our own stories about the life we are living, as we live it. We play the role of hero and see ourselves with a sympathetic eye. For example, we might describe a co-worker in our story who makes a mistake on the job as lazy or stupid. However, when we make a mistake, our imagination produces a good and often exaggerated excuse, such as not getting enough sleep, missing the bus, or not yet having that first cup of coffee. In other words, it really wasn't our fault. These instinctively created rationalizations combine fiction and reality and are designed by nature to serve our prideful desires to make us appear good and completely right. Such stories show up in many of our interactions with others. They begin early in our lives and never stop. This way of justifying our behavior would have benefited our ancestors, who were competitive predators. Both eating and avoid being eaten were necessary for survival. What they did had to be right. We have these same instincts, which unfortunately have often taken the forms of self-importance, conceit, and perceived self-competence, all of which are primarily prideful. They drive the belief, really the need, that we are 100% right, and anyone who disagrees with us is 100% wrong. The stories we spontaneously make up, then, are meant to prove that fact. They are distorted because they must show that we are completely right and the other person involved in the story or conflict is completely wrong. In the civilized world of today, cooperation has become as important a human activity as competition. We coexist with a wide variety of groups, both small and large, organized around different cultures, different religious beliefs, different sports teams, and so on. And while we are all civilized, wired in basically the same way, major conflicts continually arise. This has been true since the beginning of recorded history, including more recently 2 world wars and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?